Welcome to this explainer. When we talk about sustainability and building a circular economy, almost all the attention gets placed squarely on the shoulders of the manufacturers. We kind of just assume the factory floor is where all the magic has to happen. But today, we're going to completely dispel that myth, because we're going to prove that the true catalyst for massive industrial change isn't necessarily the producer at all. It's actually the power of the purse. And let me tell you, that is a fierce and totally transformative economic force.
So let's just dive right into a really provocative question. If you actually want to force massive, deeply established global industries to go green, to stop wasting materials, to start building things that last, and to take real responsibility for the entire life cycle of their products, where do you look? Who actually holds the keys to the castle here?
Well, the answer definitely isn't on the factory floor. It's the titans of capital. Literally, the people writing the checks, the ones insuring the risks, and the organizations buying goods in massive, massive quantities. See, when the buyers change the rules, the producers have absolutely no choice but to follow along. It's just a fact. And we're going to look at 3 incredible real-world examples that show exactly how this works.
First up, we're looking at public fleets and procurement, specifically with the Dutch Ministry of Defense.
Now, there is just a stark contrast here between the old, wasteful, linear economy and the new way the Dutch Ministry of Defense operates as a really innovative fleet manager. Under the old system, used military uniforms were simply burned, just set on fire. It was a complete destruction of value and all that embodied energy. But then they totally redesigned their approach. Instead of burning them, they decided to manage these uniforms as a continuous resource fleet. They set up a process where used uniforms are sent to and sorted in a specialized facility. And what's really fantastic about this is that this facility actively employs people with various disabilities, making them an absolutely integral part of this circular model.
So the real takeaway here is that by shifting their tender terms, the ministry initiated a totally circular supply chain, one that delivers an incredible social and environmental return on investment. All the usable textiles go to a facility where 100% of the fabrics from old clothes are reused. Zero waste. Plus, people who are previously excluded from the labor market gain vital work experience and confidence. But here's the absolute kicker regarding the procurement reform. Because the ministry demanded this new system, they had to write entirely new tender rules. They consulted with the private sector and literally changed the rules of the game for anyone who ever wanted to sell textiles to the military again. The buyer essentially forced the market to adapt to them.
All right, let's move to our second example, private investors and lessors, and how they can literally force tech upgrades.
Okay, the number 15. This number is incredibly important in the aviation finance world. Why? Because 15 years is the standard tax depreciation period for aircraft in most countries. Knowing this, a massive leasing company called the International Lease Finance Corporation, or ILFC, demanded a 15-year technological upgrading guarantee from the aircraft and engine manufacturers. They basically said, hey, we need to ensure our massive assets can be remarketed with state-of-the-art technology throughout that entire 15-year lifespan.
And this just brilliantly illustrates how private lessors use their incredible buying power, specifically during a market downturn, to completely change an industry standard. See, engine manufacturers strongly preferred selling brand new goods over providing long-term upgrades. Obviously they wanted to limit their liability. But during a period of slack demand, their order books were running low. ILFC perfectly leveraged that exact moment to say, look, if you want our billions of dollars, you're going to give us a 15-year upgrade guarantee. And the manufacturers, desperate to survive, just had to accept it. Today, long-term upgrading guarantees for aircraft are just the industry standard, all because one massive buyer demanded it.
And for our third example, let's look at insurers and financiers, and a really cool concept called the pay-per-part model.
This is a fascinating strategic partnership between the TRUMPF Group, who make high-tech laser cutting machines, and the reinsurance giant Munich Re. They got together and created this brilliant pay-per-part system that completely removes the need for a sheet metal manufacturer to ever actually buy a machine. Here's how it works. Step 1. Munich Re acts as the business enabler and finances the machine themselves. Step 2. TRUMPF installs the machine and the software, and they maintain it right there on the customer's factory floor. And Step 3. The customer doesn't buy the machine. They don't even lease it. They simply pay a previously agreed-upon price for every single individual sheet metal part that gets cut. They are literally only paying for the exact performance they need, nothing more. Notice how every single player here is using their specific expertise to create this zero-waste, high-efficiency manufacturing process. Munich reabsorbs all that massive investment risk upfront,
and they use their subsidiary, Relayer, to provide the crucial Internet of Things data analysis to actually make the financing model work. Trump brings their top-tier hardware and software to the table, and for the customer, well, their production becomes fully flexible to whatever the market demands. If orders drop, they don't have some massive sunk cost just sitting idle on the factory floor. And incredibly, Munich Re even offers guarantees against the financial impact of any potential production downtime. It is just a flawless alignment of incentives across the board.
All right, section 4. Let's pull this all together and look at the performance economy paradigm.
All of this brilliantly illustrates Dr. Walter Stahel's concept of the performance economy. You see, true sustainability, and profitability for that matter, happens when you merge retained ownership and liability with the specialized skills of the original equipment manufacturer, or OEM, and the operation and maintenance skills, the O&M. It's like a giant puzzle coming together. In that Trump example we just talked about, ownership is retained by the financiers, Trump provides the OEM skills, and that seamless integration creates a perfect selling performance model right in the center. With the Dutch ministry, they basically internalize the O&M skills to become their own fleet manager. It all fits perfectly into this really elegant shared system.
So the absolute crucial point to take away from this explainer today is that financial structures and procurement rules, they are the ultimate levers for sustainable change. When buyers start demanding that ownership and liability be retained by the providers, when they demand that physical goods be turned into services, and when they focus on the functioning of a whole system over time rather than just a one-off purchase, well, the entire global supply chain has to pivot. We can literally leverage public and private purchasing power to force the circular economy right into existence. It's that powerful.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final thought to ponder about your own company's spending habits. Honestly, whether you're a massive government agency, a huge private equity firm, or you're just managing the procurement for a small local business, you hold the purse strings. You are the one who defines the tender rules. So what could your buying power change tomorrow if you stopped buying things and started demanding performance? Think about it. Thanks so much for exploring the performance economy with me today. Now let's go put that capital to work.